Good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's Love Bay Radio. Once again, we are back again on this Wednesday, 8 p.m. You're with Nigel Hunter on the Champions Table. I'm hoping you had an amazing week. It's been an exciting week for me, exciting week, but a good week nonetheless. And we're back again today. So we will be talking about something very important. I know we talked about it before when we had this show maybe a couple of weeks ago, and it was about setting goals and making sure that you set the right goals and so forth. And so we're back again today, and we're locking in. It's called Locked In, and it's about setting those goals and really making sure that you use the right strategies to do that. It's coming from a book called The Atomic Habits by James Cleary. I believe the name is James Clear. James Clear, Atomic Habits. That's where this framework or this strategy is coming from. But before we get there, I just want to welcome you all to Love Bay Radio. It's 24/7, 365 days a year that we are here. We have amazing hosts, we have amazing shows, we have amazing music, we have amazing African heritage history that you get every single day. And I'm just happy to be a part of this family, a part of this group, a part of this community where we get to share these things with the world. And I say that really and truly because we are globally going everywhere in the world and sharing this message as well as the message of you can be all you can be. And we are here today on this Wednesday on the Champions Table, and I'm having this conversation with all of you. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining Love Bay Radio today. We're going to have a great time. So, welcome to the Champions Table, where leaders, visionaries, and everyday heroes come to share their stories on strength, purpose, and triumph. I am once again your host, Nigel Hunter, and I'm inviting you to pull up a seat, open your mind, and join the conversation at this Champions Table, where we celebrate growth, resilience, and the champion within us. So let's dive in today. And as I say every time, men talk, women talk, but the truth can't lie. The truth will set you free. So thank you for sacrificing your time to be with us today in this year 2026. As far as we are in Toronto, Canada, and around the world, it is 2026, except for in Ethiopia, where I think it's 2018. But anyway, we're going to be talking about atomic smart goals. And this is coming from an amazing book that I've heard so many rave reviews about. It's called The Atomic Habits by James Clear. And we're just going to be breaking down some amazing things that you should know. So I'm telling you to lock in as we lock in and we create those multi-step goals so that we can be successful not only today, but for our future and for the rest of our lives, right? They say you must plan. What's going on, sir? What's up to Mr. Sean Williams? Big up the president in the building. What's good, brother? And yeah, we are happy to be here today. We're going to be talking about making those important goals and breaking them down. So, anyway, let me get into a quick recap. So, a couple of things we talked about before. We talked about the identity layer, which is having a clear principle or focus on who you wish to become, not just what you want to achieve. So it's important to know who you are, to know your identity, to know what's important to you, to know what your values are, because that will help you in creating those lifelong goals. All right. So we talked about desired identity, which is I am the type of person who, and you explain that, right? It's either you're an athlete, you're a musician, you're whatever that is that relates to your identity, you're bringing that out so that you can really hone in on your identity. And as you hone in on your identity, you can hone in on your goals. All right. Then the next part to that is the vote. So every time you do a particular action, you're casting a vote towards this new identity. Okay. So every time you do a particular, if it's, for example, a physical goal that you have, every time I do 10 push ups, I'm casting a vote towards my stronger and healthier self. That could be an example, right? So it's always about consistently casting votes towards the person that you want to become. All right. So, what is the outcome? We talked about SMART goals, and everybody's heard it before. What are SMART goals? It is an acronym. The S stands for specific. So, what is the exact outcome? The M is for measurable. How will you track your progress, right? How will you track your progress? The A is for achievable. Is this atomic? Can I do it in 2 minutes? So is it achievable? Can I create something that is done as easy as I could do it in 2 minutes? And then the R is relevant. Does this align with the identity chosen above? Right? We talked about that identity, the desired identity. And then time bound. What is your daily or weekly schedule rather than just a final deadline, right? So every week creating a schedule, or every day, a certain time in the day that you're creating a schedule to do this particular thing. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So those are some things we talked about before. If you don't remember that, you can always go back to that episode and watch it and take it in and get some of the gems from there. Bring your pencil, bring your paper, or bring your phone and just type it into one of those apps that you can put the message in there. Yeah, but that's what we're doing today. All right. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me and joining the Love Bay community on this journey. Okay. So as you know, this is a Champions Table on Love Bay Afro Beats Music Talk. And just so you know, please like, share, comment, subscribe, download our apps on either the Apple apps or the Google Play. And please visit our website and donate. It goes to an amazing cause. We help tons and thousands of people every single year. And we're looking for more donations so that we can help more people and we can extend our reach of giving. All right. Because the more you give, the more you get, but you don't give to get. You give to simply give and to help others who are in different circumstances, but we are just here to help. All right. So once again, let's hear from you. And we are serving you 24/7. You can call in or join this program by simply calling 437-778-3299. Lock in and have a connection and connect with us. All right. Notebook on deck. All right. Good to know, brother. Good to know your notebook's on deck. All right. We're going to talk about the system. Okay. So what is the system? It is 4 laws of behavior change. All right. The system is what? 4 laws of behavior change. All right. So we're going to start off with the first law. The first law is number 1. I hope you have your pad with you. The first law is make it obvious. Make it obvious. All right. So how do you do that? It's an implementation intention. All right. It's an implementation intention. So you're making it obvious by making an implementation intention. So how do you do that? For example, you create in your plan, you say, I will, what that behavior is, and then at the time that you're going to do it, and then in the specific location you're going to do that. All right, let me rewind that so you can hear that again. So what is the make it obvious? It's an implementation intention. So how do you do that? You say, I will, and then what is that behavior? Let's put it into, let's say it's a workout behavior. All right. So I will do 20 push-ups at 7 a.m. in my home gym. Okay. That would be an example. All right. So you're telling the I will. It's not I want to or I might. It's an I will, meaning you're making a statement of something you will do. Okay. So I will do 20 push-ups at 7 a.m. in my personal gym. Okay. That is an implementation intention. What does that do for you? That gives you a consistent goal that every day you're doing something, you're implementing something that is working towards the desired identity, right? Remember, we talked about that, the desired identity. What is that? It is the person that you are working towards being. So it's not just about a goal or reaching a particular place. It's about an identity that you are creating or building. All right. So it's very, very important. So the first law is make it obvious. All right. And this is something called habit stacking. All right. So you've done the I will, and then the behavior, and then the time, and then the location. And then after that, you're doing something called habit stacking. What is the habit stacking? After your current habit, I will, new habit. All right. So you have a current habit that you're doing, and then after that, you're creating a new habit. So for example, if it is that habit of doing 20 push-ups at 7 a.m. in your personal gym, after that, let's create a new habit where you will make yourself a nice smoothie as a reward, okay, for that habit that you have been consistently doing. So you're creating a new habit where you're now making this smoothie. All right. So we're locking in, folks. We're locking in on multi-step goals so that we can be successful, not just in 2026, but going forward into our futures. All right. We're making it very important. All right. So the next system that we are creating, and so 4 laws of behavior change. The next law is make it attractive. I know for a lot of us, I can speak for myself. You start something and it's not attractive to you, and eventually you fall off because you don't feel no buy-in to it, right? You're really like, I'm doing this. This feels like a chore. And then eventually you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? But when you make it attractive, you're changing how you see this thing, and it becomes something that you actually enjoy doing, or there's a positive outcome in what you're doing. Okay. So how do you make this thing attractive? All right. Temptation bundling. Okay. So it's called temptation bundling. Everybody say temptation bundling. Okay. I heard you say it. Temptation bundling. What is that? I will only want to do. So what you want to do while I need to do. Okay, so I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but it does. Okay, so I will only want to do, all right, this want to do thing while I need to do. Okay, so for example, say for example, it is these push-ups, right? So these 20 push-ups, and that sounds little, maybe 50 push-ups, but whatever the push-ups is, that goal that you have every single day, you will only do this, right? When you do this, that's the only time you're going to have this smoothie. And you really, really, really like making this smoothie, right? But the only time you're going to have this smoothie is when you've completed those 20 push-ups, right? So that is what is called temptation bundling, meaning you're giving yourself a positive reinforcement after you have done the thing that you wanted to do. All right. When you complete that goal, then you reward that completing of that goal with that smoothie, for example. All right. So it doesn't have to be a smoothie. Depending on whatever that goal is, you can think of something that you will only do after you complete that goal. There was one example where this person only listens to a particular podcast after they've done a particular thing. Right. So this can relate to any of your specific goals that you reward yourself only after it's done. Okay. So this is the making it attractive portion. All right. So we started off with what? Making it obvious. All right. So implementation, intention, right? And then habit stacking. And then we go into making it attractive, which is temptation bundling, right? And then the next one. Here's the big one. This is the important one. Not that the other ones weren't important. They're all important. But this one's very important too. It is make it easy. Yes, I said it. Make it easy. Why do you want to make it easy? Because if it's something easy, you're more prone to do it, right? When it's easy things, you try to do it. When it feels like it's difficult, you find yourself saying, I don't want to do this anymore. But when it's easy, you're like, yes, I can get up, I can accomplish this thing, and I can keep accomplishing this thing. So make it easy. All right. This right here is called the 2-minute rule. Okay. It's called the 2-minute rule. Why is it called the 2-minute rule? Because you're scaling the habit down to its first 2 minutes. Let me say that again. You're scaling the habit down to its first 2 minutes. So if this habit can't be accomplished in 2 minutes, you got to scale it down. to make sure that it can be done in 2 minutes. Why? Because you're making it easy. Because the easier the habit is, the more realistic and the more consistently you will do this habit. If it's something that can be done in literally 2 minutes, it's something that you can always keep doing. And one thing I heard too is this. A lot of the times we make these big goals, right? And for example, beginning of the year, everybody's like, yeah, I'm going to the gym. I'm on a gym plan. I'm going to be doing this. And they make it an unrealistic thing where they're like, yeah, I'm going to be spending 2 hours in the gym every single day. Come on. If you're starting that plan, it's not a good plan. How about you tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to be spending about 10 minutes or 15 minutes in the gym. All right. That's more realistic. But the thing about it is that you're going to do this consistently. So every single, like say 5 days a week or 3 days a week, you're going to be going to the gym consistently for at least minimum 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a long time, but it has to be a consistent thing you do. So you, regardless of how you feel, you're getting up and you're doing that 10 minutes. If it's after work, after you gotten home, you've dropped off your bag or whatever, you're gonna go to the gym and you're gonna spend that 10 minutes, but you're gonna do it consistently because that's how habits are made. Doesn't it say it says 90 days to create a habit? Yeah, so you're gonna be doing this until it is a habit where it's second nature, where you don't even think about it anymore. It's just something that you do. Like those people who get up in the morning, they brush their teeth, they don't even think about it. It's a habit. They get up, they do it. Okay, so that's what it is about making it easy. This 2-minute rule. You are scaling that habit down to its first 2 minutes. Very important. Okay, so we're going to start from the top. What are we doing? Starting off by first law is make it obvious, right? And that means what is the habit strategy? It's implementation, intention, right? And it's habit stacking. And then law number 2 is make it attractive, which is temptation bundling. And then we got law number 3 is make it easy. That's the 2-minute rule. Okay, so you're scaling your habit down to its first 2 minutes. Okay, this is the how of your goal. Okay, so whatever that goal is, I want you to think about that goal right now. And can you, first of all, can you make it obvious? Can you make that goal obvious? That's the first question, right? Think about your goal. Can you make that goal obvious? Meaning, I will, whatever that behavior is, at this time in this location. So whatever you've written down before that's so complex, you got to break it down to that simple thing. Can you, I will do 20 push-ups at 7 a.m. in my personal gym. It should be that simple. I know sometimes you like to make these things complex, but this is not something you got to make complex. This is something you got to make simple, okay? The simpler it is, the more easier it is to accomplish that goal, okay? Don't forget, this is very important, all right? So the next law after that, right, is the habit stacking, all right? So after your current habit, you will, and this is the new habit, you will give yourself, and sometimes it's a reward, right? After that habit, you're going to create a new habit, and that new habit might be making yourself a nice smoothie, all right? Yeah. Please go back. Yeah. All right. So you're making yourself a nice smoothie, and then that is sort of almost your reward for doing what you did before, okay? So that's the making it attractive. Okay, so you're making it attractive. And then law number 3, make it easy. And we talked about this before. It's the 2-minute rule, all right? Scale that habit down to its first 2 minutes, okay? Very important. Are y'all with me still? All right, I'm glad you are with me. Great. Awesome. So we're going to keep going. So we're making it easy. All right. That's our law number 3. And then what's our next law? We've made it easy. And then environment design. This is very important. So how will I prime my environment for success? All right. This is a very important thing. So And this is very important too. All right. When we talk about environment design, all right, what are things you can do the day before to ensure that you're going to accomplish this goal? Okay. So, what if it's push ups, right? Or if it's going to the gym? Some of the things that have been said is to set out the clothes that you want to wear the next in the day that you're going to the gym the night before, so that you already have it set up. So you have your gym gear set up, you got your gym shoes right beside your bed, right there, stacked up and ready, so your environment is also speaking towards you accomplishing this goal. All right. So you got your gym there ready. You got your shoes ready. So it's not like you're waking up and being like, what am I wearing to the gym today? No, it's already there right in front of you. That is called environment design. All right. So how will I prime my environment for success? Say it's that you're writing a book, right? And every day you're going to be writing a certain amount of pages for this book. How do you prime that? You right beside your desk, you have the either the paper that you're going to be writing with or the book that you're going to be writing it in right there, and you have your pen there or your pencil there ready to go, so that your environment is primed for the success. So think about that goal once again. Think about that goal that you have in front of you, or that goal that you're trying to accomplish. What are you now doing to prime your environment? And you know what this also means? That if your environment is a place of clutter or disorganization, it is time to organize your environment. Organize your environment. Very, very important. When you organize your environment, it's like you're almost organizing your mind as well. Because if your environment is organized, then your mind will be more organized to accomplish what you need to accomplish. All right. So are we all on the same page? We starting off with what? What's the first thing, guys? Make it obvious. Yes, that's the first thing. Then the second thing is make it attractive. The third thing is make it easy. All right. And then within the making it easy is that 2-minute rule, but also making it easy is creating the environment design, right? So, how are you priming your environment for success? Very, very important. I hope you guys are taking this all in. And if not, when this replays, you better watch it again and write down what you need to write down. Okay. And then, as we always say, yes, thank you for watching. And this is the Champions Table at 8 p.m. every Wednesday. Please subscribe, comment, share, visit our website. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and check out our past shows, not only of the Champions Table, but of all the shows that are happening. There are amazing shows that happen every single day. So make sure you check them all out. All right. And here's law number 4. Law number 4 is make it satisfying. Here we go. Yes, yes, yes. Make it satisfying. And I talked about this a little bit. All right. So an immediate reward, right? So for that 20 push-ups or for that 50 push-ups that I'm doing, my immediate reward can be a smoothie, right? Or my immediate reward can be, something else, right? But whatever it is, you're giving yourself that immediate reward, which makes what you're doing satisfying. All right. So immediate reward. How will I celebrate a small win immediately and then never miss twice, right? If I fail today, make plan for tomorrow. My plan for tomorrow is, right? So if you fail today, so you say you didn't go to the gym today, what is your plan tomorrow to ensure that you go to the gym? Does that mean that you get to bed a little earlier? Does that mean instead of showering in the morning, you shower in the night so that you don't have to shower in the morning before you go? All of these things are making sure that you don't fail again, but you plan for tomorrow, right? So that your plan will be better. Okay. So let's look at this example. All right. Let's look at this in an example. All right. So here's the identity. All right. So we're looking at it because we talked about how if we're talking about a specific goal, we're not just talking about something we're doing, but it has to be interwoven into the person that we're becoming. All right. So how does this relate to me and my identity? And how is this making me a better person? Right. That's the foundation of every goal. Because if it's not connected to who you are, then it's truly not a true goal for you. Right. Because it's now something outside of who you are. But when it is connected to who you are and your identity, it changes how you see this thing, right? So let's look at it. So identity. This is just an example, all right? So this is an example of a fitness goal, but we're using the same framework that we had talked about earlier, all right? So the identity piece. I am the type of person who never misses a workout. This is an I am statement that you're making, okay? So even if this isn't true yet, right? Even if this is not true yet, you're still writing it as if this is the type of person you are. Why? Because you're training your mind and you're training your body and you're motivating yourself to be this type of person. All right. So you're writing this I am statement. I am the type of person who never misses a workout. All right. So that is a declaration that you are making that you're not going to miss a workout. And it's wise to make these workouts realistic timing. Remember, we talked about time within the SMART goal, that it's a timely goal, that you're not saying that you're going to be spending 2 hours every single time in the gym. If you're just starting going to the gym, 2 hours is way too long of a time. 10 minutes, half an hour, that's more realistic. All right. So, yes, the identity statement, right? And then your SMART goal. I will exercise for, this is just an example. So, I will exercise for 30 minutes, 4 days a week for the next 3 months to improve my strength. All right. So that's a SMART goal. So is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it realistic? And is it a timely goal? So look, I will exercise for what? 30 minutes, 4 days a week. All right. So it's measurable, 4 days a week, 30 minutes for the next 3 months, right? Timely to improve my strength. What's the outcome? To improve my strength. So you're using it within that SMART goal. And then let's talk about the obvious part, right? So the obvious, I will put my gym shoes next to my bed. So this is the whole thing about creating an environment for success. All right. I will put my gym shoes next to my bed, which is the environment, creating the environment for success, and exercise at 7 a.m. This is the implementation intention. All right. Exercise at 7 a.m. So I'm making it obvious. I'm creating the environment that ensures that that success will happen. Right. And it sounds simple, but it's so important. Think about it. If you've ever had to be somewhere the next day, and instead of preparing, on the morning of what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat for breakfast, all of those things, you do that the night before. When you wake up, you're such in a zone and so focused on getting things done that it makes it a lot easier. All right. So right now, as you know, we are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitch, all of the above, and on our website. Right. So you can catch us on any one of those platforms all the time, not just for the Champions Table, but for every single episode that airs on Love Bay Afro Beats and Music Radio. All right. So anyway, yeah. So when you create this plan, right, you got to make it obvious. Okay. And the obvious we're talking about is creating an environment for success. I don't want you to forget that. Creating an environment for success. Right. And if we're talking about our example, how are we creating an environment for success for our specific example? We are putting our gym shoes next to our bed. So we're not waking up in the morning trying to figure out, hey, where did I put my gym shoes? They're right by your bed. So that means you're ready to go. You're locked in. All right. You hear that word again? We are locked in for success. All right. So that's the obvious. And then we have the easy, right? My 2-minute version. Okay. So what is my 2-minute version? Put on my workout clothes and walk to the gym. Simple, right? So simple. Whatever your plan is, transform it into a 2-minute version of it, right? So put on my workout clothes and walk to the gym. Bada boom, bada bing, right? And so you're good to go, right? And so that's easier to accomplish. Put on my work clothes, put on my workout clothes, go to the gym. Put on my workout clothes, walk to the gym. Put on my workout clothes, walk to the gym. Easy, simple, right? Straight to the point. All right. So that's the easy 2-minute version, and then satisfying. Here's the satisfying part. I will get to check off my habit tracker and listen to my favorite podcast only while working out. So this is temptation bundling. So this particular podcast that you like to listen to, how are you temptation bundling? You're only listening to it while you're working out. So you're assigning that particular reward to this particular habit that you are creating, and you're combining the two so that you make this now habit something that is also satisfying to you, right? That's a game changer. I'm telling you, that is a game changer. So whatever it is, if possible, combine something that you enjoy doing with something that you are trying to make consistent so that it is an ongoing goal, right? These are some practical things that you can really apply to your life to ensure that you are consistently successful. We don't want to just do this for a couple of weeks and then fall off. We want to keep doing this so that this becomes an ongoing habit for you. Okay, so let me just review some of the things we talked about. All right, so we talked about first and foremost, all right, we are making an identity statement. All right, so I am the type of person, and we talked about that, right? That desired identity. And the example we used was when it comes to going to the gym, we are using this identity statement. I am the type of person who never misses a workout. All right. So we've created this identity. Why are we creating this identity? Because when you're doing something or you're trying to accomplish a goal, it's better to intertwine or connect that thing that you're doing to who you are as an individual, right? That's what makes it powerful. When you have goals that are interconnected to who you are, those are real goals, right? Because they are becoming, it is allowing you to become the person, the desired person that you want to be. Okay. So we got the desired identity piece, right? That's our first part of it. And then after that, after we go into the desired identity piece, we get into the SMART goal, right? We get into the SMART goal, and we talked about that. I'm just going to go back to the example. We broke down our SMART goal into a very specific thing. So I am, or I will, not I am, but I will exercise for 30 minutes, 4 days a week for the next 3 months to improve my strength. There's my SMART goal. Bada bing, bada boom, easy peasy, pumpkin squeezy, as they say, right? So we get to that, and then we get into our more specifics, and we talked about our 4 laws of behavior change. Our first law is what? Make it obvious. Our second law is make it attractive. Our third law is make it easy. And our fourth law is make it satisfying. All right. And how are we doing that? We made it obvious, first and foremost, right? With this particular example, we said, I will put my gym clothes or my gym shoes next to my bed, which is, once again, you're transforming your environment so that your environment is also showing this success, as well as you're also creating an implementation intention, which is exercising every day at 7 a.m. So what are you doing before? You're changing the environment, right? So whatever that environment is, if it's, for example, putting your gym shoes beside your bed, or if it's putting your gym clothes beside your bed, right? You're doing all the things within your environment to ensure this success for the next day to come, and for days and the next days to come after that, right? So that means that every single day before you go to bed, if the next day is a gym day, you have your gym shoes beside your bed, you have your gym clothes beside your bed, you've showered before the night before. All these things are changing the environment to ensure that you are successful. All right. So that's the obvious. Then the easy is my 2-minute version is, right? And whatever your thing is, create a 2-minute version of that. Right. So putting on my workout clothes and walking to the gym is my 2-minute version. I should be able to break down whatever that thing is into a 2-minute version so that it is easy, straightforward. I know exactly what I'm doing. Right. So I am putting my work clothes on and I'm walking to the gym. Simple. Right. So after that, we're going into our satisfying. All right. satisfying, I will get off of my habit tracker, or I'll check off my habit tracker. If that's satisfying for you, then yeah, do it, right? If it's that satisfying thing, do it. And then listen to my favorite podcast only while I'm working out, right? So it is that thing that you're you're combining that thing that you like to do with the thing that you are trying to do consistently, so that it is something that you consistently do. All right. These are some simple, easy strategies that you can apply to anything in your life to ensure you are successful. All right. So it's all about being successful, but it's also about being realistic. And you're not doing this for anybody but the person you see in the mirror. And that person happens to be you. Yes. All right. So you're doing this for your own personal success, your own personal achievement, not because anybody's telling you to do it, but because this is something that you want to do for your life. All right. So that's it. I hope you have listened to this. I hope this is going to be something that you can apply immediately to your life and that it can be rewarding for you. Once again, thank you for watching the Champions Table. We are on every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please subscribe, comment, share, visit our website. We are on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and join us on this Love Bay radio station 24/7. I'm not here 24/7, but we, the Love Bay community and family, we are here 24/7. Log in, get the app. If you're an Android person, get it on Google Play. If you are an Apple person, get it on the Apple Play Store. But whatever you do, make sure you lock in to Love Bay Radio. We are streaming live on all these platforms: LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and also on our website, lovebayradio.live. All right. So make sure you tune in and you lock in. So as you're accomplishing your goals, and if it's a workout goal and you need some music to listen to, lock into Love Bay Radio, where you can listen to some great music while you work out. Okay. That is part of the plan. So thank you for joining me on the Champions Table. Remember, champions are not born, they are built through courage, consistency, community. So stay inspired, stay focused, keep showing up for your God-given greatness. And until next time, I hope to see you again as we take our seat at the table and keep championing your journey. All right. Take care. We'll talk soon. Peace. And I look forward to hearing when you're accomplishing those goals, and when you're accomplishing any of those goals, please send us a message and say, hey, I've done this and this is how I've been accomplishing it. I've been using these particular strategies. Let us know. Tune in, lock in, share your success with the world, with the Love Bay community. All right. Thank you so much. Take care. Until next time, this is the Champions Table on Love Bay Radio. Take care. God bless. Peace.